A multi-sport athlete from Kirkland Lake, Ted Roman arrived at Western in 1951 and made an immediate impact on the varsity football team, starting at the end position as a freshman. At 6'2", 230 pounds, Roman was one of the biggest players in the entire league during the golden era of college football when 200-pound linemen were a rarity. During the 1952 season, Roman began playing both ways, becoming a force on the defensive line as well. The final league game of the 1952 season pitted the Mustangs against the Varsity Blues, whom they had tied earlier in the year. Whoever won the game would automatically be awarded the Yates Cup as league champions. In a defensive struggle, the winning touchdown came off a blocked punt and was recovered in the end zone for an 8-1 victory and a Mustang Yates Cup title. At the conclusion of the season, the big man would continue to amaze with his athleticism as he played for the Western varsity squash team. Roman would spend 3 seasons as a two-sport athlete playing with the Mustang squash team until 1954. For the 1953 season, Roman was moved to the tackle position and also assumed kickoff duties as the team place kicker. As a tackle, Roman became a vital cog for springing long runs from the Western running backs and their vaunted run game. Playing for their second consecutive Yates Cup Championship, the Mustangs squared off against the heavily favored Toronto Varsity Blues. Trailing 8-7 with 1 minute to play on the scoreboard, the Mustangs had possession of the ball at the center line. What happened next is forever remembered in Mustang football lore as the miracle. Quarterback Don Getty, protected by big tackle Ted Roman, faded back to the Toronto 51-yard line and dropped a long pass into the outstretched arms of galloping receiver Murray Henderson, who caught the pass in full stride on the 7, was upset on the 4-yard line, but had enough momentum to somersault over the goal line for the championship-winning touchdown. When the play was over, only 40 seconds of playing time remained on the clock. The Mustangs prevailed 12-8 for their second consecutive Yates Cup title. At the end of the season, Ted Roman was recognized as an SIFL All-Star at the tackle position. In 1954, Ted Roman graduated with a BA, sat on the student council, and continued to play on the varsity squash team, as well as establishing himself as one of the best two-way linemen in the Senior Intercollegiate Football League. A devastating 9-8 loss to Toronto in the Yates Cup Championship game would end the Mustang Yates Cup dominance, as Ted Roman was once again recognized as a 1954 SIFL All-Star along the offensive line. Enrolling in medical school in 1955, Roman was the ultimate student-athlete, juggling the books with the gridiron, where he was recognized for the 3rd consecutive time as a league all-star at offensive tackle. In 1956, Roman was drafted in the 2nd round of the CFL draft by the Calgary Stampeders. Roman chose to concentrate on his medical studies and stopped playing football. Literally, the big man on campus. He was still a popular personality on campus as he was raffled off in a chance-of-a-lifetime draw sponsored by the Western Gazette, where the winner received an all-expenses-paid night on the town with Bachelor Ted Roman. The female bachelorette that you could also win a date with was a Western student named Pat Robinson. Ted Roman ended up on a date with her, and they were married 4 years later. In 1957, Roman returned to football, balancing medical classes with football practices. The season started with an East-West matchup as Western hosted UBC in the Paraplegic Bowl with claim to the Winston Churchill Trophy on the line. The exhibition game was an invitational contest to help aid the Canadian Paraplegic Association. The Mustangs completely dismantled the Thunderbirds 54-0. The finale to the season came against McGill with an undefeated season and the Yates Cup hanging in the balance. Playing in freezing conditions, with 4 inches of snow falling throughout the game, the Mustangs employed their famous double fullback system. The Mustangs sealed the Yates Cup victory in the first quarter before the frigid conditions became too hazardous. Western scored all 8 points in the first 15 minutes, finishing an undefeated 8-0 season with an 8-1 victory over McGill. Ted Roman was once again named to the SIFL All-Star team. Head coach John Metris declared the 1957 team as the greatest of all time. In 1958, Roman was voted team captain and started the season at the end position, although by Game 4 they had to move him back to the tackle position due to injuries. Recognized as a 1958 SIFL All-Star at defensive tackle, Roman became the first player in Mustang football history to ever be named a 5-time League All-Star. In 1959, Roman signed with the BC Lions and joined their defensive line, and he helped them gain a playoff berth for the first time in Lions franchise history. Roman would play 2 seasons with British Columbia while also completing a medical internship at St. Paul's Hospital in Vancouver. Stepping away from football to start a surgical residency, Roman completed 2 specialties in obstetrics and radiation oncology. As associate professor at McGill University, he became world-renowned in his fields of study, and in 2009 was honored by his peers with the Jean Bouchard Award in radiation oncology. A devoted family man, Ted Roman approached his life the same way he played the game of football, with an enduring passion. Teammate and Mustang legend Frank Cosentino said of Roman, "I was a bit in awe of him, a giant of a man. He was always busy with his studies and practices. I recall he always had a smile on his face and enjoyed whatever he was doing." Ted Roman, a Mustang legend.